Caught my stepdaughter stealing my son's savings and my wife defended her. Now they're gone and my son is devastated. 2 days ago my son Jay, 17, came to my job upset crying. He told me my stepdaughter K, 19, came home with a ton of new things. When he checked his room the dollar he had been saving was gone. K doesn't have a job. When she does have dollars she spends it like it'll burn a hole in her pocket. My boss let me go home early. I went home to ask K who took her shopping. K told me she used her own dollar. I told her to tell me the truth. She told me to mind my own business. Jay has been working at Papa Murphy's, has been saving it. He was saving to surprise the dad of his friend who passed away, Bo, for his first birthday without him. His friends had given him $1 to load onto his card to pay at the pump. It's this weekend. For 2 days they were going to treat dad. Most kids would be saving for their first car or cool clothes, but he wanted to just be there for his friend's dad.
Instead of arguing back forth with K, I checked the camera. We have to check on the dogs.
It only caught her legs, but it was K going into Jay's room. The rule in my house is we don't go into each other's room. It's a mutual respect of privacy. I told Kay she was caught, that she needed to get everything to return it all. Kay started throwing every excuse. I had it saved for months. How do you know it was me? Someone must have broken in. Her mom came home. She burst into tears, saying we were ganging up on her. I showed my wife the video what happened. Kay ended up saying, why does he get to have all the money anyway? He worked his ass off. I told my wife she needed to make Kay return everything. She said no, that it would be embarrassing to return it all, that when Kay got a job she would repay Jay. I said it'll be more embarrassing when she gets arrested for stealing $400. We argue. I tell my wife Kay broke a non-negotiable rule as well as the law by stealing. She is 19, she doesn't pay rent, needs to leave. My wife says if you kick her out I'm going to. So I asked if she was willing to replace the money stolen. We have separate bank accounts, force Kay to return, or she could give me her half of the rent early. We split all bills. No, they packed a few bags left. I was not going to rip the bags of stuff out of her hands. I don't think getting physical would have been the smartest thing to do. Before you make me out to be the asshole, I do not have extra money for him to still go. I can only replace the small amount back to his friends. It's not enough to make the trip. He went to bed without eating, has been crushed. I posted to a sub. Ida was flooded with people telling me I should have called the police. So this morning that is what I did. The solution was that the officer would call my wife to bring Kay to the station to talk, or she could return the items, pay back Jay. Sort of a scare tactic because I was told it is a civil matter. My wife straight up fucking lied to the officer, said she gave the money to Kay. Since I don't have actual proof of Jay's money, no proof other than her walking into his room, nothing can be done. I'm livid. I literally watched Jay get his heart broken at the police station. Through tears he said, how could they do this to me? What was this all for? I just wanted to see Bo's dad. Jay is my son from a previous relationship. I had to lecture him on not keeping large amounts of cash in his room, but he didn't think it would get stolen. Update 1. My 17-year-old son had been saving all summer to go visit his dad's friend on the first birthday of Jay's friend since he passed. I did not know he had so much cash in his room. I would have told him to put it in the safe, but I'm not going to victim blame. My son shouldn't have to worry about someone stealing from him. The rule in my house is no one goes into each other's room. Parents included. It's not so much of a rule but a mutual respect thing. My 19-year-old stepdaughter stole his money. Her mom refused to make her return the stuff she got. I almost took the bags from her, but I'm glad I didn't, because my wife lied to the police about the money, so she could have easily lied about me putting hands on her. The police said it was a civil matter since my wife said she gave Kay the money, which was a lie. My wife said if I was kicking Kay out, she was going to. I didn't stop them. My wife Kay have support, staying with family, this won't affect them. This weekend my wife showed back up with a sheriff's escort. She came armed with receipts showing that she bought the furniture in our rental. That is all she needed to take everything. I tried explaining I gave her cash for some of the items, but guess what? Just like with Jay, cash doesn't have a trail. Her family helped her move everything in under an hour. With how quick this all happened, the cynic in me thinks my wife had this planned well before what happened. My wife contacted the landlord, paid a lot of money to break the lease. Almost double the dollar that Kay stole, but of course she didn't offer to repay Jay. After everyone left, my landlord called. I had a mini breakdown. Everything was moving faster than I could comprehend. Honestly felt like I was watching a movie. Jay came up to me, said, I'm so sorry you lost everything because of me. It's not a big deal, I'll tell mom it's okay, that Kay needed it more than me. That's all I needed to snap out of it. I told him he is my everything, not her, not the house, not the furniture, not the food that was in the fridge. Yes, super cheesy, but there is nothing my wife can do, say, or give me to make me overlook or be okay with what they did to him. I asked him, are you going to feel comfortable around them? What about when you are gone? I don't want you to have to worry about what will she steal next. Kay is not going to get away with this. My wife made a choice when the police officer asked her about Kay. She chose to protect Kay, just like I am choosing to protect Jay. If Jay isn't comfortable, I'm not comfortable. And I told him that. The people in my life have been slamming me online, saying things like I'm uncomfortable that he would choose his son over his wife. His son is almost an adult. It's time to grow up and be a man. It doesn't matter what age I am, I will always protect Jay. I blocked everyone after that. Yes, he is almost an adult, but that doesn't mean it's okay to steal from him. Having a crime or something bad happening to you isn't a write-off. Passage to be an adult? He is a responsible, hard-working, honest, kind, almost man, but he is also the 8-year-old who used to run to me every day after work with a huge smile like I hung the moon. I cannot afford the full rent, so luckily my landlord has agreed to let us leave by the 1st. The only place we have to go to is my mom's, who lives across the state. This means I have to pull Jay out of his last year of high school, transfer him. I have to sell what little we have left here. That might include selling Jay's beater car, but the silver lining is I can transfer locations for work. Mama has always been more of a mother to Jay than my wife. Moms are healing at any age. I'm not saying I'm not devastated, that I'm not suffering emotional whiplash. I'm not saying the things that are being said about me in real life aren't affecting me, because it is. But my son needs me. He is still grieving his friend, missing his senior year with his friends. I'm not the kind of parent to say because I said so or we are moving you don't get a choice or opinion on it. That isn't me. Update 2. If you had told me 20-ish days ago that I would be searching for a decent divorce lawyer who doesn't require a retainer fee, I would have laughed in your face. For Jay's sake, I'm not going to expose you on social media, but I won't hold back if I'm asked about it. Your friend's family have your back. Can't believe I would go through the shame embarrassment of a divorce. It's mind-blowing that I'm getting the blame for this. Nobody cares about Jay except me. Y'all have shown your true colors. I realize that your people are the kind who victim shame. What was she wearing? Was she flirting with him? Did she let him buy her drinks? Type of people. You are who you surround yourself with. It's not our fault your dad is broke. Jay should have hit it better. Finders keepers. I'm uncomfortable that he would choose his son over his wife. Why did he have so much cash on him anyway? What did he think was going to happen? That one stings because WTF? He thought his belongings were safe in his room? It never crossed his mind that there was a possibility of him getting robbed? Kay broke a house rule by going into Jay's room. She flipped his room upside down looking for cash. Once she found it, she consciously put everything back in its place. She then took the money, went shopping. When she was caught, she got an attitude, told me to mind my business when I asked her where she got the dollar because she can't have more than $5 before it burns a hole in her pocket. She played the victim, cried to you when you got home because she was scared of us for ganging up on her. She wasn't scared. She isn't sorry, she doesn't care. Kay is a fucking sociopath. Kay committed petty larceny. I'm not going to tell him that he will make new friends at his new school, that it's only for maybe a year max, or that in the grand scheme of life this really isn't that bad. I don't need to remind him that there are kids who are going through worse things. That he just needs to get over it because he is just a kid and I'm the parent, so what I say goes. He has to start his senior year at a new school. I have to pull him from the friends he has gone to school with since kindergarten. He cried with me when I told him we would have to rehome our animals temporarily because Mama can't have pets at her place, which is where we are moving to. So I'm going to sit with him in the this fucking sucks of it. He came into my room with a bag of Swedish fish to share to tell me it was okay to give up on staying here. He told me he was sorry that you weren't the woman I thought you were, that it must really hurt me. He also cracked a joke that at least we won't have to eat any more of your unseasoned cafeteria food. We can't stay in our home because you have better credit than me, so the landlord is requiring an additional security deposit for a new lease. I've been calling animal shelters trying to get info on temporary foster homes because my mom's place doesn't allow pets. We can't stay here. Just know that there is going to be a time where you metaphorically, possibly quite literally, can't bail Kay out. You are doing her such a huge disservice enabling her and cleaning up her messages because she isn't going to learn any life skills. No one likes a spoiled entitled brat. Lord have mercy for her when she gets her first dose of real karma. So Reddit, this is my last update about this. I know I had a lot of people wondering what happened. Kay is still not being held accountable. My soon-to-be ex has moved in with her coworker that I believe she has been having an affair with. They are fine. They are thriving. Their world isn't crushed like ours is. We have to surrender our pets and move ours away to live with Mama until I find us a new place and save up. It's not fucking fair. Update 3. Today I went to fill up my car with my emergency credit card. This weekend I have to drive to my mom's to drop the first load of stuff off so that I can safely live out of my car without raising suspicion. My card declined. I called customer service thinking it was denied as a security precaution because I haven't used it in months. It's truly an emergency card, but since I have $9 to my name right now, I had to use it. The rep tells me it was denied because it's maxed out and if I want to use it I would have to make a payment. My card was used at Sephora the same day that Kay stole Jay's money. She spent my $500, Jay's $400 on fucking makeup. I asked the rep why I wasn't called because it was a suspicious charge and I was told they tried. I found out the number on my account was my wife's. There was an online account for my card that I didn't create. I have kept my wife and I's finances separate. She was not on my card. I reported the fraud with the rep but won't get the money back until after an investigation. I went to Sephora and pretended I was buying my daughter something but wasn't sure what she liked, so after a few questions they pulled up her beauty insider info. She is a rouge, whatever the fuck that means. I asked what the return policy was and then I left. I'm so fucking furious. After a heated phone call with my wife, I was blocked. I don't know where they live or I'd show up to get the shit back to return. My wife Kay moved in with a coworker who I'm pretty sure was having an affair with. Once again these heifers are living their life without interruptions and it's nothing but heartbreak for Jay. I now have to go through our stuff to find some things to pawn to get gas to make it to my mom's, but Jay will have to come with me because I can't afford a second trip back. No homecoming dance with his friends because a sociopath can't keep her hands off other people's money. I put my wallet on the top of the fridge the minute I walk in the door. I still have the physical card. How long does an investigation take? Since we are married, is she allowed to use my card or let her daughter use it without my permission? When I went to the police station for Jay's money, I was told it was a civil matter. The solution was that the officer called my wife to bring Kay to the station to talk, sort of a scare tactic, but my wife straight up lied, said she gave the money to Kay. Should I report the credit card to the police or will I just be wasting my time? We live in Nevada. Around 8 a.m. I started receiving a ton of texts from my stepdaughter. I thought it was an emergency, that someone had died, or something serious because I can't recall the last time she was awake before noon. She was telling me that she had a package that was delivered today to the house. She asked me to contact the landlord to pick it up because when she tried, the landlord wouldn't give it to her. Help her get a package that she stole my credit card to buy. Today was my last day at my job before I transferred 6 hours away to crash on my mom's couch because she stole from my son and I, leading to me divorcing her mom. Text after text damn near demanding I do it right away. After work I went got it. It had my name on it. She put it in my name to avoid it getting flagged by my credit card company. It was a partial order from when she went on a shopping spree, the items had been back ordered. It was a box of makeup from Sephora. I opened it, again, it was in my name. It was over $200 for 4 little things. There were also a ton of little sample products. I took a picture of it, sent it to her. She started thanking me how I saved her night out because she ran out of foundation. She was talking to me like I was her buddy, all excited. My jaw literally dropped at the audacity she had. She ruined my son's senior year. She thought I was going to help her so she could go out tonight with her friends. She didn't respond to my son when he tried begging for his money back but had the nerve to ask me to help her. I took it to Sephora to get a refund, but because the card that was used to purchase it was frozen/closed, I couldn't get cash. The girl working said she could return for store credit to Kay's account. Absolutely no, I think the fuck not. So I took it to an organization that helps women get ready for job interviews so they can get back on their feet. I texted her that they said, thank you, that it would really make a difference since donations were low. She lost her shit. Cursing me out for giving away her stuff, how she was going to call the police if I didn't get it back within an hour, saying she was going to go get it back. What kind of punk tries to get a donation back from the needy? I ruined her night because now she doesn't have any foundation makeup. How dare I think it's okay to do this to her? The last only text response I gave was I would probably avoid the police right now, especially since mommy is out of town for work. Who would bail you out? I got her package that I didn't even know about, which ended up adding more fuel to my fraud case. I do have this on another sub, but since finding this one, I think it fits better. My post history will give more contact, but my wife and I are separated. We will be divorcing. Tonight my son opted out of staying with his friend to keep me company in the car. He has 2 days left of school before we move. My son started crying, handed me his phone that had my wife's Facebook on the screen. There were a lot of posts bashing me, saying how it's weird that I chose my son over her. The newest post was, I need someone to tell E that he needs to stop Jay from contacting me Plaza. He is boo-hooing that his pants don't fit for Hoko and that he doesn't have money to go to dinner with his friends. I do not care and I am not his mother. E is trying to get K in legal trouble for $. I'm not helping, so cry to someone else, dude. I abbreviated the names, but that is what she posted. I didn't know my son was still trying to talk to her about getting the money back. Who shames a kid for wanting his money back so he can have fun at his last homecoming? I made him block her, but the damage was done. I vent on here, but no one knows who I am on Reddit. My wife's Facebook has family, close friends, and a few parents of his friends. He said it was hurtful to him because people were agreeing with her, laughing. Why would a parent do this to a child they once loved, cared about? How do I make things easier for him? He isn't typically a crybaby, his words. I know things will work themselves out. I'm sitting with him through this freaking sucks, but what more can I do? Less than 6 months ago a good friend took his life. His stepsister invaded his privacy and stole the money he had been saving so she could go shopping. I have to pull him out of his senior year to transfer because we have no place else to go. He is temporarily losing his pets because my mom's place doesn't allow pets. This is a lot for a kid and I'm just worried. His biological mother hasn't been in his life since he was 4. I hate how hurt he is. TLDR, my wife is emotionally berating my son, taking her issues with me out on my son publicly. How can I help him? I reported the fraud with the rep and figured as soon as they saw the charges weren't from me I'd get my money back. I told them the charges were fraudulent. Not even a week later I started receiving a ton of texts from my stepdaughter. I thought it was an emergency, that someone had died, or something serious because I can't recall the last time she was awake before noon. She was telling me that she had a package that was delivered today to the house. She asked me to contact the landlord to pick it up because when she tried, the landlord wouldn't give it to her. I was almost in awe of the audacity of her calling me to help her. Help her get a package that she stole my credit card to buy. She ignored every text and call from Jay begging for his money back, yet thought it was perfectly okay. I got the box with the intention of returning it myself for a refund. It had my name on it. She put it in my name to avoid it getting flagged by my credit card company. I took it to Sephora to get a refund, but because the card that was used to purchase it was frozen/closed, I couldn't get cash/refunded. The girl working said she could return for store credit to Kay's account. Absolutely not. I took the box to an organization/charity that helps women get ready for job interviews so they can get back on their feet. This was a mistake. Today, October 7th, I was told my fraud investigation was denied. That the orders were in my name, sent to my address, almost a month delayed in reporting it, and because I donated the box of stuff that meant I showed ownership of stolen goods. I'm now responsible for the debt racked up on the card. I no longer have access to my emergency credit card until I make a payment. I'm beyond screwed and about to be in the negative in my bank account. When I went to the police about the dollar she stole from my son, my wife lied and said she gave that money to her. My wife also said she gave Kay permission to use my card. We didn't even have joint bank accounts, let alone joint credit cards. Does her being my wife give her the right to let her daughter use my credit? What do I do? File another claim? Do I need a lawyer to sue my stepdaughter? Update 4. A quick refresher if you can't see my post history. My stepdaughter stole hundreds of dollars from my son. My wife wouldn't make her return the things she bought, flat out lied to the police saying she gave the dollar to her. I chose my son over my wife Kay. I immediately kicked Kay out, my wife went with her. My wife terminated our lease early. I was living out of my car while my son stayed with a friend so he could attend homecoming week, his senior homecoming dance with his friends. The plan was to move across the state to crash on my mom's couch because she is the only family we have. Jay was crushed, but there was no other choice, or so I thought. The day I was supposed to take our first load of things to my mom's, I discovered my emergency credit card was maxed out by Kay on makeup at Sephora. This was a blessing in disguise because while I was waiting for the fraud investigation to clear, I found a place that I could afford. It is 5 minutes from the school. Jay gets to stay with his friends, at the same school, gets to start back at Papa Murphy's where he worked all summer. I'm officially filing for divorce. I'm pressing charges on behalf of Jay myself against Kay for the theft. I have audio recording, messages, emails, FB screenshots that my lawyer says will be a slam dunk. The only heart-wrenching thing is we can only afford one pet deposit, so 2 of our animals have to be surrendered. All 3 pets have been with a foster, but it isn't working out, so we have to let 2 go, but this will be the last super hard decision we have to make for a while. I'm looking forward to healing, moving on from the toxic person I married, her twit of a daughter. Despite her pleas attempt at publicly humiliating me on FB, I will never forgive her for this. She thinks I should be embarrassed for getting a divorce, but I would be more embarrassed staying with her after she showed me she had zero regard for my son. It's not a new chapter. On Tuesday, Jay, I start our new book of life. Update 5. I genuinely never thought I'd be back here. Frankly, I was hoping for some boring stretches in my life and my posts. Instead, I'm writing this after midnight while Jay is crashed out on our couch, one of the only pieces of furniture that actually made it into our new place. I'm still processing everything that's happened in just these last 2 weeks, and I know a bunch of people here will appreciate the wild mess, so settle in. First off, my attempts at boring normalcy lasted exactly 6 days. The good news is Jay is back at his old school, back at his job, and even managed to make it to the tail end of the homecoming festivities thanks to a parent friend who bought him a last-minute ticket and dress shirt. He's still hurting over everything, who wouldn't be? But there was this glimmer of I might actually get through this that I hadn't seen since before Bo died. I'd started sleeping only a few hours a night, every muscle in my body tense half the time. Then the calls from my ex began. Not to talk, apologize, or even gloat. Somehow, she found out about the police report I filed against Kay, not sure if it's the world's worst mutual friend, her cousin, or just small-town grapevine. She left this rambling voicemail about how I'd traumatized Kay, threatening to go after me for defamation, and then, by the time I finished work, both of my and Jay's phones were blowing up with random numbers. Teen girls from Kay's new friend group, I recognized a few, spamming us with texts about how we ruined Kay's life, that she's lost everything and needs help. The main theme, we're monsters. The next surprise was an envelope taped to our door. My first panicked thought, restraining order. Turns out, it was a handwritten apology from Kay, sort of. At least, that's what the first sentence looked like. Sorry about the money, but you're being so dramatic. She wrote about being embarrassed, stressed, and how she'd never meant for any of this. And then, as expected, pivoted to if I can just get my returns in, maybe I'll have cash soon. The kicker, inside the envelope was a stack of receipts, all dated after she'd already stolen the money and used my credit card. I'm not sure if she genuinely thought she could just hand me a pile of paper and this would make things go away. I called my lawyer, and the DA. My lawyer said every new text, these receipts, her note. It all helped establish a pattern. The DA's office actually took it seriously after reviewing the evidence. I learned something wild. In cases where a legal adult steals from a minor, and there's an attempt at restitution or even a semi-coherent confession, it can push it from civil to criminal. I hadn't realized how much documentation I'd amassed in my panic and anger. Screenshots, emails, the envelope, the police report about the card. The fraud complaint was reopened. Here's where life got nastier. Jay came home from work on a random Tuesday, pale and shaking. His manager had nearly sent him home early, He'd been receiving prank calls at work from someone asking for Papa Murphyo, the pizza thief. At the same time, he'd started getting DM requests on Instagram that were, frankly, insane, memes about deadbeat sons, laughing about his stolen money, some that implied he must have been lying. Some, we suspect, were orchestrated by Kay's new crowd, using screenshots from her mom's Facebook posts. It's one thing for adults to act like mean high schoolers. But seeing other actual teenagers harass my son, it set something off in me. I reported what I could, blocked people, documented everything. I sat Jay down and told him, "This is war. I hate that you're being dragged into it, but I promise you, nobody is getting away with this." The next day, a detective called me back. Apparently, Sephora Compliance had been keeping tabs since my original escalation. A thorough internal audit showed that the online account for my credit card had been accessed from one of Kay's old devices. She'd never logged out after one time she borrowed my laptop to apply for jobs, months back. The detective had Kay's login trail. They were able to tie the fraudulent purchases not only to her, but to 2 others she tried to make at different stores before hitting my card's limit. And then, an actual miracle, after my new fraud claim, the bank called. Because my wife had not just given permission to use the card, but actively created an online account and changed my phone number to hers without my knowledge, it counted as unauthorized access in their system. Not only will the charges be refunded, but the bank has put a flag on all future activity, and is willing to cooperate with law enforcement. Meanwhile, Kay, with the brilliant timing only a truly self-absorbed person has, tried one last desperate trick. She messaged me with what she called a deal. It sounded like a threat. She asked if I would just let the money thing go and say it was miscommunication in exchange for her friends laying off Jay, and even admitted to messing up. If not, well, maybe everyone online will know what kind of parent you are, since you already lost one wife. I forwarded that to my lawyer too. The last few days have been filled with paperwork, drives to the police station, and about 70 cups of bad gas station coffee. Jay and I spent a night building new IKEA bookshelves, laughing like idiots at the worst instructions known to man. At least, for a few hours, things felt almost normal. But the real twist happened yesterday afternoon. Jay and I were walking out of Target, just getting a frying pan and curtains, the kind of boring purchases I've missed, and who's parked in the lot. My ex, she got out, started toward us, and, for the first time in months, looked genuinely nervous. I braced for a scene, but instead, she just apologized. For about 12 seconds. She said, "I'm sorry it got out of hand," and then went right into how hard things are, how Kay is in counseling, that they have to move again because her coworker's girlfriend is uncomfortable with them. She asked if I'd consider retracting my report with the police so everyone can move forward. I told her, as calmly as possible, that the only person who can decide when to move forward is Jay, not her, and that our goal now was peace and distance. We got in the car, hearts pounding, hands shaking, a weird mixture of relief and adrenaline. So, here's where we are now. I've retained a new lawyer. We're moving forward with both the divorce and criminal charges for theft/fraud, using all the new evidence. Jay is, for the first time since all this started, talking about college again. He got a call from an old teacher who heard about the fundraising and offered to write a letter of recommendation. Cue tears from me. Our remaining pet is permanently with us. One of the fosters for our other pets messaged that they'd grown attached and want to keep them. I drove Jay to visit and he made the call. He'd rather see the animals happy and loved than bounce them around, and that's the first truly selfless smile I've seen from him in weeks. This week, I got a formal letter stating my name has been cleared regarding the credit card fraud, and the funds are getting credited back within 3 days. I've started reconnecting with friends I'd isolated myself from, thanks to my ex's campaign of smears. I even had an old friend bring us over a crockpot dinner and fix our busted leaky sink. Good people still exist. Jay and I have an inside joke every time things get ugly. At least we didn't eat unseasoned cafeteria food for dinner. Gallows humor wins. I think we've both learned the hard way. Sometimes the only way through a storm is to fight for each other, even if everyone else is throwing stones or jeering from the sidelines. Jay has been floored by the random kindness shown by a few teachers and classmates standing by him, and I'm finally resisting the impulse to feel shame over what happened. Our lives got torched by a selfish choice, but somehow, burning it down cleared the way for some kind of new growth. And yes, I do have a glimmer of hope for boring posts in the future.